Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. I have to say that all of a sudden, just listening to Lori, I'm very emotional. But that's good. That's good. I'll get it out of the way right away. Let's see here. Okay, great. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for everybody right here, because when you do have an invisible chronic condition, as I have spoken to so many more in the work that I do, you do start to believe you are invisible. And so I just want to say that after a very long journey to get here, I'm no longer invisible, and I'm very happy to say that for all you women out there who are listening on the webcast and who are here in the audience, there is a lot of help out there for you, and please just never give up. I'd like to start there. Thank you. Okay, so this is me in a nutshell. I'm going to talk to you today about my story, about my personal transformation to be able to stand here in front of you today, my new identity, because I am no longer the person that I was before the accident. I am brand new. And for the better, by the way. And now my path, yes, I am Lori's warrior now. I am a warrior for women's sexual health. And yes, ladies, it is true. You really can have mind-blowing sex with Provoked Vestibulodynia. It is possible. Yes, it is possible. Please use your inserts, ladies. They work. Okay, starting out. So I was on my way for a wonderful opportunity on the 1st of November 2012 when I got hit by a car. I was the passenger in that vehicle. I had the soft tissue, all those things, the upper and the lower back pain, fractured left elbow, and, you know, cuts and bruises, that type of thing. So I had a headache, I had those type of things, and I didn't think too much of it. It was just day after day, week after week, that I started to have pain in my pants, and I didn't know where it was coming from. So in the middle of the night, I would get up, I would go out with a mirror, and I would realize that there's nothing there, that this must be all in my head. So I felt very ashamed. I started to think, what was it that I must have done to cause this to myself? And it was only after roughly 4 months of suffering in silence that I went to my GP, and he asked me, what's wrong down there? And I thought, I said, well, actually, I'm having pain in the entrance of my vagina. So he got all the tests done. They all came back normal. So he did not know what to do. So he sent me to see, he said, well, I'm going to go send you to see a gynecologist, which he did do. And that gynecologist, as Dr. Young will relate to, told me to go home and relax and to drink a glass of wine. So I decided to drink the whole bottle just to see if it would help, and it didn't. So naturally, it goes without saying, I had a lot of anxiety just to even get in there, a lot of panic attacks, which before this I had never, or at least to my knowledge, I would have had these things, but they would have only happened just brief periods of time. This anxiety was with me at all times, and so were the panic attacks. And then the depression started to kick in without me even knowing what it was, that I just had this sense of hopelessness and that there was just no way for me to get out of the darkness. But finally, I did get out of the darkness. But I do want to just jump in there and go back to go under my solution with my GP, who said he had given me medications for the pain in other parts of my body, and he thought this might help me as well to calm down a little bit. And After I went back to the physician again, after those medications did not work, he sent me to see a psychiatrist, because at that point I was told that it was all in my head. Happily, the gynecologist was able to work with me to tell me, quote unquote, you are not depressed because you want to kill yourself, you are depressed because you have a broken vagina. And I said, now we're finally getting somewhere. So I took her medication pads, whatever it was she gave me. I went home, I tried to take some of them, and as I may refer later on, it numbed my mind, but it absolutely did not numb my pain. So because I had this real desire, I love my sex life and I wanted it back, I kept on going back, and finally he sent me to see another gynecologist who I was so grateful for, had done an elective course at BC Women's Hospital, and I had done my research with the psychiatrist to know that it had to be some type of nerve damage that we were talking about, and in the end, I got the word Q-tip test. And off I went to my gynecologist with this word, and she knew what I was talking about it, and within 3 seconds I cried my eyes out for the first time in this journey with joy. She said, oh my goodness, you have provoked vestibulodynia. And that's when my real journey began with Dr. Brotto. I got the referral, and then from this lovely lime green piece of paper that the advertisement was on, I kept it. I will frame it. This is my life. This is my lifeline here. Okay, my personal transformation. So I wanted better sex. And that's what motivated me to break my silence and share my experience so that others also may get the help that I have gotten. I wanted to take take responsibility for their sexual health as well. So for those of you that are out there now that are listening, please, I will say this again and again, please reach out for help. It is out there. For me, being a research participant absolutely changed my life, because Dr. Brotto and her team showed me the science behind what was happening. Because I remember her one time, she goes, now I'm about to, tell you, I'm not going to give you any pills, I'm going to tell you, to go home and be mindful. And what do you think about that? And I thought, well, you know what? I don't know what I think about that, but I'm going to give it a try, because everything else up to this point hasn't worked. And by the way, it works. It works, it works, it works. I can't say enough. What else being a research participant did for me is it, of course, provided support and confidence building with myself, with others, with the team, created a safe environment for us to be able to say what we needed to say and when we needed to say it. And I was able to walk away by being more positive about my future and my sex life. And also, as you can tell by the work that I do now, I'm able to give back to others with their chronic conditions, because yes, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, all these things are really real for all of us who have chronic conditions. And now I'm a good self-manager. I, of course, work with Self-Management BC, which is funded by the Ministry of Health with the University of Victoria, and I took the self-management workshops, and I now work as the online coordinator. I do daily mindful and practical techniques from the Comfort Study. My new identity. First of all, change my belief systems, and thanks again, as Dr. Brotto has mentioned already, awareness, my mind-body connection, and to accept my new self and to change myself accordingly. Just as a very quick example, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I write in a gratitude journal 3 things that I'm grateful for every day, because sometimes I have anger issues and I want to make sure that I start my day out on a positive note. I also, of course, meditate 3 times a day. I learn specific skills and practical cognitive skills through self-management, and some of those include problem solving, decision making, and action planning. And right now, obviously, I'm a self-advocate, and I want to communicate and share my experience, and as well, I was a co-investigator in the PVD campaign and the narrator of the PVD video. And almost lastly, my new path, a warrior for women's sexual health. Right now, actively speaking out and communicating my sexual health story, advocating for women's sexual health research, of course, helping women live better lives with sexual health issues, becoming more empowered through the stories that I tell and through the stories that I have heard. And I know that there's some women out there listening that I have been able to speak to personally, and I want you to know that you are not alone. And raising awareness through social media. I have had the pleasure of being the narrator of a video under the campaign with Dr. Brotto. And I want to ask you, please act now. So under the PVD campaign, where you can find me personally, and under Self Management BC. Thank you so much for listening.